story began roughly about 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years on May 12th, actually, as I made the fateful error, despite having every reason to be petrified. I have to take you back just a little bit to my upbringing. I had a front row seat to exactly what vaccines can do in the 80s as DPT ravaged one of my mom's closest friend, baby boy, and watching him grow up in a wheelchair and not be able to mentally, cognitively function was heartbreaking. Fast forward to the pandemic, I was working two businesses. I just started a real estate investment business, and I was working full-time as a massage therapist and loved it. So I felt a bit responsible being in close proximity to others to do what the government said, the right thing, and get the shot. I had every reason not to, but I just went with the peer pressure, unfortunately. I had an immediate reaction, and it took me a long time to connect the dots, but I was able to go back and figure out that instead of the muscle, they hit a vein. I had an immediate, awful metallic taste in my mouth, immediate nausea, heart arrhythmias, my heart was pounding out of my chest, I was tremoring, and I was so weak, lightheaded, the room was spinning. And I should have known something was up when they just took me across the hallway to a room where they had a gurney already set up. To shed a little bit more light on that, I had actually used it as an opportunity of a tourist visit to Lambeau Field. They were giving out the vaccines there. So I fell for it. I went there and they put me in that room on the gurney, popped their head in every now and then, didn't bother to offer any monitoring, not even a pulse ox, BP cuff, whatever, they just did not want to interact. They just wanted to observe, in case they had to call in the emergency care, which I'm sure, hopefully they had in the facility, seeing as how they're a major NFL team. So I sat there for an hour trying to gather enough strength and composure to be able to walk out on my own strength. Yeah, so that was a very terrifying day. And I thought, well, this is odd. My husband was completely fine. No reaction besides a sore arm. And here I was, just quickly falling apart. It was very traumatic. It was hard to even sleep that first night. The next morning, I'd wake up, and on the way back home to the Milwaukee area, I'd feel a pop in my right lung, on the right side, where I got the second in a Pfizer. So, unbeknownst to me, that was the moment I started developing a large pleural effusion in my right lung. I would not understand why my ribs would continue to ache and hurt, and it would be tough to take even a deep breath. I thought, well, maybe I just strained, bruised a rib, I excused it away. Didn't want to believe the worst. Who wants to? Then, within days, I was starting to develop terrible neuropathies, starting from my neck, first and foremost. And again, I excused it away because I had a pinched C4 in my cervical spine in my 20s. So I thought, well, maybe something's happening with that. Maybe it's unstable. So I called to get an appointment. At this point, I had just fired my general practitioner over a disagreement on my prior care. I'd been under therapy and intense treatment for a brain injury. I came back and I insisted upon wanting to remove my IUD after I worked with a holistic nutritionist, and she identified some work to be done on my hormone balance. So fast forward to my new practitioner. Walked in and he was immediately very concerned, but I was very honest with him. I said, look, I don't like being put on a ton of medications. you're gonna have to convince me. I'm really struggling here, and I don't trust medications, prescriptions, and now shots. So he got me in to have an MRI of my neck right away, within days. But by then I was 6 weeks post. I lost my independence by Independence Day that year in 2021. I had to go to an ER to beg for a neck brace because finally my neck muscle decided to take a summer vacation along with all the rest of the muscles, head to toe basically on the right side. So as I sat there trying to celebrate the 4th, watching one of my favorite local bands, I had to sit in the wheelchair with my neck brace on, watching my good friend, the lead singer, just freak out when he saw me, like, what just happened? I saw you just months ago, as he was our realtor for our real estate investment business. And yeah, that became the trend, the new trend when I saw any of my friends, and it was devastating to them. So yeah, that was the beginning of my crazy journey through these 2 years. And I really I never got a proper diagnosis except for the glaringly obvious one of the pleural effusion that they could not deny. I went through at least 4 other general practitioners, none of them really fully taking me seriously, maybe enough to push me off on a specialist, but that was about it. I was given just a placeholder diagnosis of fibro to describe the immense pain that took over my entire body. And about 2 months in, it went from numb to, completely painful to completely numb. And then months later, as I was rounding about 6 months in, the sensation came back, but unfortunately it went into the other extreme direction. The pain came back tenfold, took over basically my whole spine, top to bottom, and I kept begging, not once but twice, for a lumbar puncture that they would never give me. Rheumatologists ran the bare minimum. It dropped. Every single provider that they sent me to saw me once and dropped me without a very good reason. They say, well, we don't see anything wrong, you're normal. I don't see why we should put you through any further tests, even though I had very obvious deficits. I had incredible brain fog too, so even getting through these appointments, they could tell I was not even cognitively functioning well, but they chose to have a blind eye. So I had a good friend of mine, my best male friend Mike, who's also a brilliant radiologist. He always kind of like looks over any of my workups, and he just gave me like a harsh reality check. He says, look at what all these appointments are doing. They're traumatizing you. And let's be honest, the medical field has no clue what's going on. Just give yourself a break. Stop wearing yourself out and just work on the rest and the healing and let them catch up. And so that's exactly what I decided to do. I was at my darkest phase by about, I think it was second week of November. As soon as I opened my eyes up every morning, before I could even get out of bed, I was already at a pain level of 9. And I'm just crawling downstairs to get comfortable on the couch as best as I could in a zero gravity position, laying on my heated UV heating pad like nonstop. If I got up, it hurt. So I was just closing my eyes and rocking back and forth and crying and screaming and crying and screaming just to make it through until my body would get too exhausted and I just passed out, And I would try and stay asleep for as long as I could. Taking melatonin, 5-HTP, even liquid night ZQL. Liquid ZQL to help me stay asleep for as long as possible because I did not want to wake up. I faced all of that all over again, not knowing when it was going to end. So that's what I said, a prayer out of desperation. I said, God, I could not get through another day of this unless you start to show me what to do. You know, please don't let me wake up for another day unless you show me what to do. And that's exactly what he did. He turned on an obsessive learner inside me. He knew that I had to unlearn just about everything I learned from the broken, fractured healthcare system that we have today and learn exactly what I should be doing to be a proper steward of my body. So it was interesting to just, figure out how to learn when the things that were strongest in me were broken now. I never had glasses until that year, December 2021, I finally broke down. Losing the sensation, losing, my good eyesight. Luckily, God saw fit to bless me with even better hearing. And that became my new way to learn. I didn't have to look at a screen as I was battling from my reactivated brain injury. So I could at least close my eyes, listen to content, audiobooks, even movies, and just be soothed and calm just from that listening to whatever it was that I needed at that moment. And I even used a heavy amount of music to soothe me. So it just became a matter of providing myself the best comfort I could and trying to work on those pillars that you need for healing, the rest. Eating, oh my gosh, what a battle. After that bioweapon, I could not even gather the stomach to eat without Zofran or a little bit of rice to settle my stomach. I would hope and pray to get around to being able to tolerate some vegetables. A great day would be a couple of bites of meat, but I could barely eat enough to fulfill like one meal. So I became very nutritionally poor, stuck in starvation mode. My body was just kind of ballooning up with all the fluid retention and the fluid imbalance, little unbeknownst to me, I developed dysautonomia. And because they were trying to get rid of that large pleural effusion with the use of first antibiotics and then a diuretic, that diuretic was awful. This is the worst thing they could have given me. My body went into immediate fluid imbalance. I was struggling to urinate even, start the flow and finish the flow. So I landed in the hospital, they say 180 over 120, you need to be in the hospital. So I did, and that was the worst mistake. That was the worst visit. I made the mistake of mentioning the correlation to the V. Bad idea in those days, in those early days, yeah. That gets you ignored. They did one chest x-ray, took one blood draw, and I had been texting with my nurse practitioner this whole time, asking for his advice because he'd made that kind of a condition of our work together. Whenever you need me, text me. So I did. And he said, well, I had ordered some blood tests and you never got around to it that day before you felt so ill. Please ask them to run the B&P. You see, they just wanted to double check that it was not heart failure. They did not run that test. The second request he wanted me to make was a referral for an internist. They did not even give me that. They did not even start an IV. They just held me in observation and let me sit alone and was looked in on twice, once at the beginning, once to follow up and tell me that, you know what, even though your blood pressure's not going down any, you're normal. Go home. Yeah. So that is a good summary of like round number one. I'd have a nice, beautiful remission. Somehow we just utilizing personal and spiritual growth and good practices, I was able to at least get to one remission and decided to try and take on the knee replacements that I needed after a really bad highway accident. Just 4 months prior to my visor injury. So I took on the first knee, and big mistake, I took asymptomatic for being well. And I was launched into a really bad relapse just weeks into my physical therapy. She had to adjust every single exercise because I had terrible POTS. They knew I had to get movement and range of motion back, so yeah, they did their best. But yeah, that took 2 times longer than it should have. And I don't know how I managed through, but I did. Just sheer determination, I guess, at this point. And I knew I could not stop moving. When you stop moving, you're just opening yourself up for a whole another round of dysfunction. So I pushed on. They really, they were starting to come through with some things to try. FLCCC had just released their protocol, and I had discovered in my own home state of Wisconsin, Dr. Corey has set up a telehealth practice. So still having a little bit of money left over from my accident settlement. It wasn't much, $25,000 when I paid $30,000 to a Revive Treatment Center for my brain injury. It's laughable at how broken I was financially for this journey, that I'm on right now. But I managed to scrape the money, and I gave their protocol a try with supervision. However, it's again just an hour and a half maybe, and it was Scott Marshland was great to work with. He truly was a godsend. But we were all struggling and trying so many different things. It got me a good amount of improvement. I'd say it got maybe 70 to 80% better, but I knew there was something still missing. I knew that I could not even attempt to take on my second knee replacement yet. So I had to find a better way. And by November, that answer was definitely provided by Dr. Ely. I had received word from Nikki Holland in a post in one of our groups that he was going to be doing a free Heal IT clinic every Tuesday via Zoom. And I was in from day one. Finally someone that resonated more with, the way I like to treat my body, a little more natural. I didn't want to be stuck or put on several drugs indefinitely ever again. So that's when I got to work. And just months in, I signed up for his DIY version first of the Artist Other Healing. But then weeks later, when he announced the opportunity for the live class version, I knew I had to be part of that. He was establishing it to be certification, and I knew I had to get it out there and get back into healing, get back into helping all the other injured out there, because that's what I've been praying about for many, many, many months. In fact, I was so dedicated to helping the injured. I went for a certification as a life coach through the FEW Institute of Certified Coaches. FEW is a local Wisconsin group here, a faith-based group, Fellowship of Extraordinary Women, and that is a very good description because they're all extraordinary. We've all had extraordinary challenges been broken beyond what we thought was repairable. But a lot of these women now are out there doing such amazing work, having their own nonprofits and doing God's work. And that's what I wanted. That's what I began praying for, is that opportunity to have God use me in this. I just needed a massive purpose for this worst pain of my life, and I was definitely not pain adverse. I've been through plenty of trauma, including losing a very dear loved one just 10 years ago. To me, it feels like yesterday. When someone dies in your arms, it just changes you. So, that started my journey with healing. The two most important support systems entered my life right about that time, to rescue me from that second and wicked relapse, and really get to the work on honing and developing the skills I would need to make a difference, to help other injured. And I'm going to stop using that word injured, because I want to really empower us to look at ourselves differently. Dr. Ely now calls us the recovering or healers, and I love those words, because it's exactly what we are meant to do. We're not meant to be victims. We're not meant to be injured for life. We have to look at it in a positive light of, I have no doubt, I have absolute faith in my body, my God, and my healing. So that kind of brings you to why I am here giving my testimony. And I wanted to share some things that, really resonated and were important to me along my journey. I want to help others heal, and not just help them heal through my story, provide them the care that I've seen so very much needed out there. I see a low-hanging opportunity, and I'm going to tell you more about that a little bit later on. As I look back, starting to tell my story, it just finally hit me last week, believe it or not, what the key differences in my journey back, so to speak. And, I wrote it down. Sometimes I have this nasty habit of getting the urge to write, and my fingers just start flying. They're not my words. They're divine. They're divine words sometimes. So I wrote this about the 4 pillars that you'll need, and this is exactly the route that God took me down when I asked for His assistance. First, it starts with the soul, your faith. Your healing begins as you reconnect with God, who then speaks life and truth into who you truly are in Christ. The transformation into your best self begins. You see, this injury had made me feel worthless, completely worthless. What am I even doing here? I cannot function. So God had to work in me, first and foremost, to show me again who I truly am, and that I am very important. Then he worked on my mind, worked on my level of dedication, put me to work on myself. So I wrote, let's deep dive into who you are through your thoughts, actions, habits, and patterns. We walk you through how to take baby steps towards better, healthier habits, emotional resilience, and figuring out an optimal care routine to support what your body and mind needs to thrive. You see, I've been typing up some notes on how I plan to incorporate things in my nonprofit, first and foremost, and then secondly through a mobile medical treatment service that I'm working very hard to get off the ground. First I have to fundraise, but I have a lot of the sourcing already boiled down to just meeting these manufacturers and suppliers face to face. So well along the way of getting out there to help. as many as I can reach. So then it goes on to the body and taking action. And once you're dedicated and your mind's right, here's where the hard work of cellular healing occurs through a robust assessment using the most pertinent tests to individualize a treatment plan and approach that honors your level of commitment to your bodily stewardship. You will learn how to stop fighting the body's natural processes and partner with your body in love instead. Yeah, and that was a tough one for me to learn. I had to unlearn so very much, like, why do we force ourselves to eat 3 times a day if we're not even hungry? That's like insanity. And then when I started incorporating first intermittent fasting and then water fasting, wow, what a difference. Stop fighting the body, let it do what it knows what to do, you know? I did not know. Even though I'd spent a lot of time self-educating, it was just not the right sources of information. Dr. Ili's done a great job of teaching us how to do proper research and what the trusted sources are of truth out there, and how to really then put it all together and rely on your gut. Let's face it, a lot of us are struggling to trust ourselves after we made such a horrible, life-changing decision. So yeah, definitely need to learn a lot of love and self-patience, self-nurturing. Once you get down that path, it's just only going to take, several cycles, of self-care before you really start to have improvement that sticks. You get breaks first, preview windows of what your life could start to feel like, and then the breakthroughs. So yeah, it's a lot of work to get to those breaks, but then those breaks start to come quicker, and then you get that big breakthrough. So I just want the injured to keep trying and reaching and being persistent and consistent to reach that goal. And it's terribly hard work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have to remain in complete control of my emotions. Otherwise, it can quickly, fall apart. And I have to stay focused. Focused on the positive practices, focused on positive thoughts, positive feelings, even in the midst of chaos. But that all turns around once you start to actually get some progress and feel better. The 4th pillar I wrote down is spirit. Celebrate all wins. As your body progresses through the healing stages, you will begin to feel alive again. As joy, wellness, and most importantly, the greatest energy prevails, and that energy is love. You learn to start to love your body, love your life, hopefully even start to love your people again. I can't tell you how many times I had to take separations during this journey from my husband. It was incredibly difficult, and I feared that we weren't going to make it. But finally we realized, this is just an incredible challenge, and to just give each other just some grace, forgiveness, and just find our way back to understanding each other. Neither one of us was truly selfish. We were just both very hurt people hurting each other. You can come back from that too. So, unbeknownst to many, except for those in my immediate circles and learning circles, God put a big assignment on my heart as I went through my coaching certification last summer. I was sitting in the dog park with my best friend and service dog, who's actually napping right now. I was hoping to get him on camera. But we sat in the park celebrating my certification, my latest certification. And again, God made me pull out that little pen for my Samsung Note, and I began typing. typing out the assignment he was giving me. We need to work in these areas of support that the injured need. And I went to work looking for support in this big mission. You know, I saw that there was an opportunity and that we needed to have treatment facilities just specialized to help our community, save us from the gaslighting, the white coat PTSD, and all that trauma. So I reached out to first find Joel at React 19. You know, I knew that he had a lot of connections locally, and we could start to get to work. Try and get us the research, try and like validate which treatment and therapeutics out there that would actually help, and then figure out a way to finance this, you know, build it, launch it. And that has taken me, a lot of tireless hours of research and work and networking, to be able to get to a point where I can say now, roughly 9-10 months later, I'm getting ready to launch my nonprofit. I just have one more position to fill, and then I'll hopefully have that launched by my 2-year anniversary date is my goal. So yeah, pray that I can get that off the ground by then, because then it's just a short matter of, well, I shouldn't say short matter, but an all-out fundraising campaign. And I've networked with a lot of other real estate investors out there who saw and watched my journey, and assured me that once it came time to support, they were going to be ready to support. So yeah, now the hard work of the fundraising campaigns begin. The actual filing of the nonprofit, I have already identified a reasonably priced lawyer who is very skilled at getting it done and approved in a reasonable amount of time. Done with those funds, I need to get literally rolling on putting together a mobile treatment service. So I intend to bring together a team of nurses, nurse practitioners, any physician that wants to sign on to be able to really do the assessments and then help put together these treatment plans, start walking and educating more people through great courses like the Art of Cellular Healing. Oh my goodness, it's been an amazing experience. It brings in everything you need to heal. You have not just, the guidance and support with what to eat, what to do, what supplements, to really hone in on, but we learn skills about homeopathics that are so powerful. Like H2O2 was such a game changer. And I'm actually preparing to go through my second cycle soon once I do my water fast this week. Water fasting is a whole brand new thing as well. But what a huge improvement after I went through my first one. Huge bursts of energy. Yeah, and that's really what we all need to be equipped with. Knowledge, not only to how to heal, but how to protect that health going forward. I don't want to keep doing this. This has got to be like the biggest lesson learned. To really become and take over ownership of my own health. Don't outsource it. Don't trust those that do not even acknowledge you. There's a better way, and we can do this for each other, by the injured, for the injured. We have a lot of injured healthcare workers that are dying to get back out there and work. I've talked to several of them already. So we're all equally excited about making this happen. Once we get through some key fundraising activities, even grant writing, I'm working with government aid right. We can make a short matter of identifying some good ones to go for. I want to continue to build upon Dr. Ely's great school. That course is so powerful and so amazing. I want to be able to sponsor people to get through it. Sponsor, as much as I can of their experience, because, it's not going to be easy for a lot of people. At this point, 2 years later, how many of us are completely tapped out financially? His course is his plan, the supplies you need for the plan. I mean, it's reasonable in considering and in comparison to everything else out there. But it's still a financial commitment. But I hope to be able to sponsor as many people, for at least a portion of their work, their healing work. But that's all going to be based on Team Humanity. Team Humanity has to show up, and I'm going to do my best to rally. I've been given a lot of opportunities now, including now speaking to Jonathan Otto and his wonderful work. Such game-changing work, it's there's not many sources of just positive, uplifting, inspirational information out there. We hear day in, day out, we live it day in, day out, the nightmare. We need to stop focusing on that and do more work like, Jonathan Otto is, through this platform, and like Dr. Ely is, focusing first and foremost on the population and the community that you're serving in, providing them the love and support, and teaching us all the healing, holistic tools out there: meditation, prayer, breathing exercises, the love and appreciation of music and support, and sharing, like story sharing, and cheering each other on. It's incredible. This is the second time I've now been blessed to experience such an environment, because Revive Treatment Center provided me that first experience of what truly powerful medicine could be. I was able to experience the NAD/IV therapies, the hyperbaric oxygen therapies, RTMS, and then a whole therapy floor of treatments and therapies that got me back online cognitively and mobility wise as well. There's not enough facilities like that out there, and that's when I took it upon and into my heart already, after experiencing that amazing environment, 2-week intensive therapeutic environment. And to tell you the truth, I was surrounded with so much love. It was life-changing, working with a holistic nutritionist and such a strong team of talented, dedicated individuals that just loved on you and kept you moving forward, kept you positive. I cried tears of joy just walking into that facility, because I felt what a difference, and that's what I'm modeling this new healing opportunity as. I want to not just bring that environment, I want to bring it directly to those most injured that can not leave or travel. It's a struggle even to make it a short, road trip to a doctor's appointment. So that's why I thought, a medical RV will fulfill that big need. But it has to start with some prep work. That's what I learned too, through my brain injury. Gut health is truly brain health. They weren't gonna let me spend $30,000 and have a mediocre experience. They made me prepare months in advance. They sent me product to start working on my gut health. That's the foundation. Without that, you're not really not going to make much progress. So coupled with, you know, a good gut now and layered therapeutics can make quick work of healing. And doing them all together, 8 hours a day just for 2 weeks, 80 hours of therapy. And 1 week I was driving again. By week 2, my mind was fully functioning and I was getting ready to go back home and work with a business mentor and partner on bringing the center back to the Midwest. But then Pfizer happened. But it's just been a dream delayed. I see that as still very necessary. These therapeutics have now been confirmed to help our population. So I need to build another opportunity and access for us to receive these powerful therapeutics at the right time in our healing sequence. And Dr. Ely's School Energetic Health Institute, they'll show you just exactly the sequence that, you know, your body responds to heal. I really can't say enough about it. It's been so powerful and so game-changing and so healing to be amongst others in this fight, others in this journey, and watching us come to life together. I can't think of a better way to roll this out. Now you're teaching individuals how to care for their health moving forward. It's so much hard work to get back. Let's not lose it again. Let's protect it like the precious thing that it truly is and just God-given. Rely on Him and everything natural. I'm gonna be working my way, you know, like breaking my dependence on it, you know, anything man-made. The only medications I'm still left on are rescue ones, my albuterol inhaler for my mild asthma I've had since I was 7, and my terrible peanut and nut allergy, I have to carry an EpiPen. But I'm now happy that I've at least gotten back to that level of just keep it on hand in case. So this is what natural medicine does, you know. My complexion has drastically improved. My eyes are no longer racked with dark circles. The vision's slowly starting actually to improve. I can take off my glasses at times and still be able to read a little bit. My nails are starting to grow back, you know, and my hair, even though the color's changed, which is really, really weird, my hair has never been this dark. I'm just going back to natural. Just letting God's creation surface. I just want to show the world now, like, a healthy, happy, joyful, individual, true me that was like fighting so hard to get back. It's doable. It's absolutely doable. But it just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of consistent, dedicated practice. Because practice is what gets you past the dysautonomia and damage to the nervous system. It gets the pain back under control. Helps you balance out, you know, those symptoms until they basically fade away. I'm not really particularly anyone special, you know. I just followed the lead of some brilliant minds, learned to rebuild my support network from the ground up, filled it with some new positive individuals that really knew how to have my back and my heart, heal with a hug and a prayer, you know. Those are the people that we really need to be surrounding ourselves with, you know. It gets tiring to have to do the awareness work and be in a fight, which is not healthy for our bodies whatsoever. Even though I never truly got diagnoses, I did kind of size up the most logical condition of reactivated Epstein-Barr, had that nasty mono when I was in high school. Also reactivated PCS, the PCS that I had just healed from 1 month prior to my injury, as well as the dysautonomia, POTS, and MCAS triplets. I worked with POTS Treatment Center for roughly about a couple weeks as well. Not cheap, but they did arm me with education on how to basically take on dysautonomia, and that was a lot of practice, a lot of stepping into control, trying to control your body. You sync up your heart and your breathing again, and stand up in a safe manner so that you could balance out that blood flow. Learning literally made the difference. And I hope that others are going to resonate and reach out and grab that opportunity as well. Not only will it help you journey back, but it'll save you and protect you from here on out. So I was just trying to recall about what point in my journey I came across Jonathan Otto's series. I believe it was early on, within like the first 2 to 3 rounds. I definitely remember paying attention to, I think it was, the first time I was able to really get the recordings and purchase them was the Brave series. Proudly owning that book. And any opportunity I had to watch the free content, I tried to really prioritize time to catch as much as I could, because it's been truly inspirational, uplifting, educational. There's so much that I would not know if I had not been actively watching this whole series this whole time. Because that's the one thing our community really has been fighting for, was information. There's such a huge lack of information to understand what was even going on with our bodies, to even understand what conditions we're dealing with, and even how to begin to heal from something of this nature. It quite literally attacks just about every system. But hearing from such inspirational people through this docu-series, not just doctors like Dr. Ely and Dr. Artis, Dr. Grew, the list goes on and on and on. You have the best content out there. You interview the most amazing individuals. You get all the helpful therapeutics and information about them out there. Like, I had no idea what urine therapy was all about, and here I am on the cusp of toying with the idea of learning that skill as well. I still have some joint health to regain, and I've heard that's been great for that. So yeah, I would have never even tried half the things that I tried had I not been exposed and educated on how to go about undertaking such efforts. So Jonathan Otto and his series has really been an invaluable resource to so many in our healing community. And I just want to show my extreme amount of gratitude to him and to all the talented individuals that he really brings in to share with us. It's such an immense blessing. And then I just wanted to share some thoughts that I wrote down, just about my own healing journey and what it's given back to me, and replaced for what it took. Things that make me smile, like nerding out is my new normal. And I'm willing to embrace it. I've got my glasses, I'm ready to nerd up. And do what I can to help. It was quite the personal reset that I needed. I needed the shake up to wake up. I needed to be tore up from the floor up to be restored. And that's a little shout out to Apostle Bill Dickerson right there. That's one of his pop-isms that we call him Papa Bill, and for good reason. He's a delightful individual, taught me so much about prayer and the power of prayer in my own journey. And then the blessings from this experience, I can now say I've met my new tribes, my new family, and believe it or not, even being waylaid gave me the time to reassess and redesign my entire life to be able to heal every hurt, not just the physical, but the emotional wounds. Basically, throughout my entire life, I finally had to face them, heal them. To heal them made it possible to heal the body. And first and foremost, and most important, it got me reconnected to God and my faith. I had lay dormant for about 10 years. That's how I was duped. So duped. But I fixed that. He is my source of truth, my one source of truth. And I'm growing to accept my divine destiny. I've been asked to help, love, and protect the medically named these vaccines, but just from a broken medical system that likes to ply us with drugs first and foremost and not bother to teach us. That now has been leading me to miracles after miracles every day, and now being able to live an intentionally rich life full of new people and new experiences. So yeah, you can make great purpose out of your pain, and I pray that you're able to do that. I pray that you're able to stay strong and navigate your way back through this. I want to let all the healers out there know that I'm here to support, I'm here to listen, I'm here to inspire and give hope. First and foremost, that was the name of the first business I reestablished post Pfizer, was my coaching business of Infinite Hope Coaching. You don't have the hope, you can borrow from my infinite supply.